shop. As you can see, it is a long hallway-like thing. Right here is where we put the trash pieces of wood that are too short or too wrecked to be used anymore. We have some wheels here. This is the door. This door leads to the student parking lot right here outside theater. But this door usually only comes open if we are working outside. Otherwise, it has to stay locked. Here we have some larger pieces of stuff. This is our saw. In order to use this saw, you have to be trained by either someone who already knows how to use it or the teacher. Basically, all you do is you just pull it down like this and you press down on the button. This is the work table. When you're cutting wood, you put stuff here. As you can see, we have a lot of 40 by 48 pieces of wood, 2x4s mostly, that go under here. As you come closer, you can see our Luan stock. It gets smaller to larger and it stays in these containers. And then on the left, there is the tower of 2x4s and 1x4s that are not too large, but you know, big enough to fit in here. The labels for the measurements are marked on the outside of the pieces of wood, so that way it creates a grab and go system, so you don't have to sit and measure your wood forever. You can just be like, oh, I need a 35 and 1.5 piece of wood. Grab it and you're good. And you put it back. Anytime you put wood back, you must remeasure it and cross out the old measurement and rewrite your new one. Same thing with over here. They're just smaller pieces of wood. In this little section here, we have our longer 2x4s and 1x4s. These go up to like 11 to 12 feet. As you can see, they go through the ceiling. That's how tall they are. Then we have poles and dowels and molding for sides of walls, and just like longer pieces that didn't really fit in the category of these 1x4s and 2x4s. Across from that, we have our plywood. This plywood is the same, is racked mostly the same as the Luan. It goes from smallest to largest, and then of course we have like other things like these trees and like this like design thing, headboard looking thing. As you come closer through the scene shop, there are paints here, sorted by color for the most part. There's glues and other things up on this shelf, but from here down, it's all canned paint. This is another work table. On the side of the scene shop, we have our sawhorses, so whenever you're sawing something, you can put it up on these, so that way you can cut it nicely. There are also longer pieces of wood and just other things down under here. There are legs for platforms. As you can see, these are drilled together. Then, this is also on the paint section. We have a closet thing with spray paint in it. The spray paint is also organized by color. And then there's some other like finishes and glossy things here. You have your small paintbrushes, your paint mixers, your tools for rollers, and then some scrapers, some cloth and sponges. And down there are the containers for paint for rollers and other Tupperware containers for when you need a small amount of paint. Here are our larger paintbrushes and our roller skeleton things. Those hang there for the most part, unless they fall. We have water bottles we find. We use this when we're mixing paint, in case you need to add water to the paint, or you need it to spray, or something like that. We have extra water bottles here. At the very end, we have aprons for when you're painting. You don't want to get anything on your clothes, although that doesn't really happen for many of us. Then we have our tarps. These are all of our tarps. They kind of just clump here in the corner. There's a lot of them, so they get pretty mushed together. Then over here in these tubs, we have other paints, but these were paints that we needed in more large quantities. So we have elastomeric and paints for our walls from our last show and last shows too, all right here. And that is the scene shop. Out this door is the theater, and that's everything you need to know about the scene shop.